The battle long forgotten, a queen in the fire. The desert sky was full of fire. Explosions ripped through the battlefield. Red dust and smoke filled the air. Soldiers screamed, ships crashed, and weapons flashed across the burning horizon. It was war, brutal, endless, between humans and the alien kingdom of Velmora. In the middle of that chaos, Marcus Hale, a young human soldier, crawled through the dirt. He was tired, wounded, his armor cracked, but he kept going. He had a mission. Rescue. Anyone left in Sector 9, his radio crackled. Sector 9 is lost. Pull back, Marcus, now. But Marcus didn't listen. As he passed a broken metal wall, he heard something. A soft sound, not a cry, not a shout, a whisper. He stopped and turned. Behind a pile of burning wreckage, someone moved. He pushed aside debris and saw her, an alien woman, bleeding, gasping, trapped under a collapsed wing. Her skin was pale gold, her hair silver blue stained with ash. Her eyes, even in pain, burned with light. She looked up at him and said weakly, "Help!" "Me." Marcus aimed his weapon. He was trained to fire on sight. But something in her face stopped him. Fear. Not of him, but of dying alone. He dropped his gun. Without speaking, he pulled her free. She was heavier than she looked. Her leg was broken, and a long burn ran across her shoulder. Marcus ripped off part of his own sleeve and wrapped the wound. "What's your name?" he asked. She stared at him, then whispered, "Zirea." That was many years ago. Now Marcus sat alone in a quiet space station cleaning old tools. His hair was gray now. He had a limp in his right leg. No medals, no titles. Just a man with memories, and a pendant he kept hidden in his pocket. The same glowing pendant the alien woman had pressed into his hand before he lost her in the chaos. He never saw her again. Until today. The door to his workshop opened with a soft hiss. He didn't look up. "Closed," he said. But the voice that answered froze him in place. "Do you remember me, human?" Marcus stood slowly. A tall figure stepped inside. She wore flowing robes of silver and black. Her eyes shone like stars. A crown rested lightly on her head. It was her, Zirea. Not wounded now. Not afraid. But powerful. Alive. And older. Like him. Marcus could barely speak. "You're alive?" Zirea smiled softly. "You saved me, Marcus. You pulled me from fire when others left me to die." He nodded slowly. "I thought you were just a soldier." "I didn't know that I was the Princess of Velmora," she finished for him. Marcus stared. "Now you're a queen?" "I became one the day my mother died in the palace bombing. I ruled alone, with a secret." She stepped closer and opened her palm. Inside was the second half of the glowing pendant. She placed it next to the one Marcus still kept. The pieces clicked together, still glowing, still alive. Marcus sat down hard. He couldn't believe it. "What are you doing here?" Zirea's face turned serious. "I need your help." Again. Marcus laughed dryly. "You're a queen. I'm a mechanic." "You're more than that," she said. "You're the last human I ever trusted." Marcus leaned forward. "What's happening?" Zirea looked out the window, where stars floated peacefully in the black sky. "My kingdom is breaking," she said. "Someone inside the royal court is trying to destroy me. They say I'm weak because I once trusted a human." Marcus raised an eyebrow. "And now you're here to, what? Prove them wrong?" "No," Zirea whispered. "I'm here to remember who I was, who we were, and what you did." She turned to him, her voice quieter now. "You saved my life. I never forgot. But now I need more than memories. I need an ally." Marcus stared at her. Behind her beauty, behind her title, he still saw the woman in the fire. The one who begged for help. The one he carried across the battlefield. And now she was here. asking again. He nodded once. I remember. But neither of them saw the hidden drone in the corner of the ceiling, recording every word and silently transmitting the message to someone watching deep in the shadows. The Queen has made contact with the human. Begin the purge. The Queen's request, enemies among us. The next morning, the stars outside the station looked the same, calm, silent, peaceful. But inside Docking Bay 6, everything had changed. Marcus stood beside Zerea as her royal ship landed with a quiet hum. It was long and smooth, shaped like a silver blade. Guards wearing dark armor stepped out in formation, their faces hidden behind silver masks. Zerea stepped forward. These are my royal escorts, she said. They're sworn to protect me. Marcus watched them closely. Something about the way they moved made him uneasy. Too quiet, too controlled. I've seen soldiers before, he muttered. These don't look like ones who follow loyalty. They look like they follow orders. Any orders. Zerea glanced at him. I know. That's why I brought only the ones I trust. Marcus noticed her hesitation. She wasn't sure anymore. Inside the Queen's ship, the walls glowed softly with blue light. Marcus sat across from her in a circular room lined with floating data screens. Zerea waved her hand. A large map appeared in the air. This is the Velmora star path, she said. It links the royal palace to all major colonies. Marcus frowned. It's broken, she nodded. Sabotaged in 3 places. Someone is cutting off my ability to lead. If the last route falls, the other lords will declare me unfit to rule. Marcus pointed to a blinking red sector. That's the one closest to the border. Zerea sighed. Yes, and that's where you fought, and where you saved me. He leaned back. So the traitors pushing you toward the same battlefield. She nodded. They want to erase the memory. Erase you? Marcus laughed coldly. Well, too bad. I'm not so easy to erase. Suddenly, a soft hiss came from the wall. One of the guards stepped in, slow and stiff. My queen, he said. A message from Lord Reich. He demands to speak. Alone. Zerea stood. Tell him I'm not accepting private calls. The council meets in 2 days. The guard didn't move. My queen, he repeated. He insists. Zerea narrowed her eyes. What house do you serve? The guard tilted his head. I serve the Empire. No, she said firmly. You serve me. Suddenly the guard reached for his weapon, but before he could draw, Marcus was already moving. In one fast motion, he grabbed a tool from the table, a heavy plasma cutter, and slammed it into the guard's side. Sparks flew, the guard fell, twitching, and then began to glitch. His armor sparked, his face flickered. It wasn't a man, it was a synthetic, a spy. Zerea shouted to her guards, Seal the ship, no one leaves. Alarms blared, the doors locked. Marcus helped Zerea up. Her face was pale. You were right, she said. They've already replaced some of my men. Not just replaced, Marcus said. They've infiltrated your court. They're not loyal, they're puppets, she whispered. Null-born. Marcus nodded. Yeah, I've seen this tech before. Clones, machines, AI. Call them what you want. But they're dangerous. In the hidden corners of the ship, Marcus and Zerea searched the royal quarters. More bugs. More hidden devices. Every room had been watched. Zerea's voice shook. Even my sleep was spied on. My thoughts. My messages. You need people who aren't afraid of truth, Marcus said. She looked at him. I only know one. Later in the ship's war room, Zerea handed Marcus an old metal box. He opened it. Inside was his old combat badge from the day he rescued her. I kept it, she said. Proof that a human once saved a future queen. He held it in his hand, remembering that smoke-filled battlefield. And now? Now, Zerea said softly. I'm asking you to come back there with me. Not as a soldier, but as my witness. Marcus raised an eyebrow. Witness? She nodded. To speak in front of the Royal Council. To tell the truth. To remind them what honor means. He looked at the badge again, and slowly nodded. I'll do it. But on a distant moon, deep in the shadows, a pale figure with glowing eyes watched the scene unfold on a dark screen. He turned to his guards and said, if the humans speak, we'll lose everything. Prepare the assassin. A secret buried. What the Queen hid from him. The royal ship traveled through deep space. Stars blinked softly outside the windows. The engines hummed low. Inside the Queen's private chamber, Marcus sat on a soft bench, cleaning his old combat badge with a cloth. It still had scratches from the war, the same war where he saved Zerea. She entered quietly. You kept that badge all these years? She asked. Marcus didn't look up. You kept it too, in a box. She sat across from him. Because it was more than metal. It was a promise. He raised an eyebrow. Promise of what? Zerea looked away for a moment, then back at him. After you saved me, I disappeared, not just because the war called me back. I left because I had to protect something. Marcus leaned forward. Protect what? She stood, walked to a tall cabinet, and opened it. Inside was a glowing orb, small, pulsing with blue and gold light. She held it in her hands as if it were fragile. Marcus stared. What is that? Zerea's voice trembled. It's memory, DNA, proof of a life, born after that battle. Marcus frowned. Born? Zerea turned to him, her eyes full of something deeper than fear. Regret. I was pregnant, Marcus, when you saved me. The room went silent. The hum of the ship, the blink of the stars, it all faded behind that one truth. You were? He whispered. Zerea nodded. I didn't know until after. But the child lived. She grew strong, fierce. She's now my daughter. Marcus stood slowly. The princess? Yes, Zerea said. Her name is Sorel. Marcus took a deep breath. His mind raced. But that means... Zerea nodded again. She is your daughter. Marcus turned away, hands shaking. Why didn't you tell me? I wanted to, she said. But the council, the kingdom, they would never have accepted a half-human heir. I had to protect her and you. Marcus slammed a hand on the wall. So you just erased me? Let me live my life thinking it all meant nothing? Zerea's voice cracked. It wasn't nothing. I watched over you from a distance. I kept you safe. He turned sharply. She doesn't even know, does she? Zerea's silence answered everything. At that same moment, far away, Princess Sorel stood on the bridge of her own ship, watching the path her mother's vessel was taking. She was sharp, proud, dressed in armor laced with fire-colored crystals. Her eyes burned with strength and suspicion. She turned to her aide. Prepare to intercept my mother's ship, she said. I don't trust this human she brought back from the dead. Her aide looked nervous. The Queen gave orders. I am her daughter, Sorel said coldly. If this human has power over her, I want to see him with my own eyes. Back on Zerea's ship, Marcus sat again, quieter now. The truth had shaken him, but something else grew inside him too. A memory. Years ago in the fire, when he carried Zerea through the battlefield, he remembered her whispering something in her own language. He never understood it. But now he asked, What did you say to me, Azu, back then? Zerea smiled sadly. I said, You are more than warrior. You are the seed of a future I do not understand. Marcus looked down at the badge in his hand. I didn't understand it either. Suddenly the ship's lights blinked. An alarm flashed. Unidentified vessel approaching. Shields up. Zerea's eyes widened. Sorel! Marcus stood. She knows. Zerea turned to him. We must tell her. Together. But Sorel's ship had already locked weapons, and deep in her war room she gave the order. If he steps foot on my mother's planet, fire. The Queen's daughter. She hates all humans. The royal ship dropped out of warp near the moon of Elveron, a quiet planet used for royal summits and private talks. But waiting just ahead was another ship. Sleek, dark, and clearly ready for battle. Sorel's warship. Marcus stood at the window, arms crossed, watching it hover. "She's not welcoming us," he said. Zerea stood beside him. "No, she's challenging us." Marcus took a deep breath. "Then let's face it." The Queen's shuttle landed in the outer courtyard of the summit grounds. It was quiet. Cold wind blew across gray stone tiles. Above them, a large statue of Zerea's ancestors looked down. Powerful. Proud. Sorel waited at the far end of the platform. She was tall like her mother, eyes like fire, armor glowing with sharp red lines. A spear rested at her side, but it wasn't just a weapon, it was a symbol of command. Marcus stepped out beside Zerea. Sorel's eyes narrowed the moment she saw him. "This is the human?" she asked. Zerea nodded. "His name is Marcus Hale." I know who he is," Sorel said coldly. "He's the reason the council questions your loyalty." Marcus spoke calmly. "I didn't ask to be brought here, but I'm not walking away either." Sorel stepped forward. "You think you earned the right to stand beside royalty just because you saved her once? That was war. We all bled." Zerea interrupted. "Sorel, please." "No," Sorel snapped. "You've always told me to lead with strength. Why are you letting a human carry your secrets now?" Zerea hesitated. Marcus met Sorel's gaze. "You don't know me." "I know enough," she said. "Humans stole from our people. They pushed us into a war. My mother nearly died." Marcus's voice was steady. "And who pulled her from the fire?" That silenced her for a moment. Sorel's eyes flicked toward Zerea. "Why did you never tell me what really happened that day?" she asked. "Why did you never speak his name?" Zerea stepped forward. "Because I was protecting you." "From what?" Sorel shouted. "The truth?" Zerea closed her eyes, then opened them again, filled with sorrow. "From the weight of knowing your blood is half human." Silence. For the first time, Sorel looked truly stunned. "What?" Zerea's voice was quiet. "He is your father." Marcus held his breath. Sorel took a step back, her face pale. "That's not possible." "It is," Zerea whispered. "I kept it from you, because I was afraid. Not of the truth, but of what the truth would do to you." Sorel's hand trembled. She looked at Marcus. Really looked. The same jawline. The same storm in the eyes. The same quiet strength. She turned away. "I need time," she said, and walked into the inner chamber. Later that night, Marcus sat outside on a stone bench. He stared at the sky, the moons glowing above. The stars seemed distant now, like they were watching but saying nothing. Zerea sat beside him. "She's hurt," she said. "I know," Marcus replied. "She doesn't hate you, Marcus. She hates that I lied." He nodded. "I don't blame her." Zerea looked at him. "Do you regret knowing?" He shook his head. "No. I just wish I could have been there. She needed fire to grow strong. But now, maybe she needs water too." Suddenly, footsteps. Sorel stood in the courtyard, alone. "I want to talk," she said. Marcus stood slowly. She looked him in the eye. "All my life I trained to fight humans. Now I learn I am part human." He waited. "I don't know what to feel. Anger, sadness, fear. I feel all of it." "You should," Marcus said. "It means you're alive." She smiled faintly. "You're not what I expected." "You neither," he said. "But you're stronger than I ever could be." Sorel stepped forward. Then slowly she extended her hand. "Let's see what kind of peace can come from war." Marcus took her hand. Father and daughter, strangers a day ago, now standing side by side. But in the dark corners of the council hall, a shadow moved, A figure whispered into a hidden comm. She knows, he knows, the bloodline is exposed. Begin the attack. Betrayal at the summit. A human framed. The grand chamber of Elveron's summit palace glowed with soft golden light. Large crystal windows showed the stars beyond. Royal banners hung from tall pillars, and alien leaders from across the galaxy gathered in a circle. It was time for Queen Zaraya to speak. Marcus stood behind her wearing formal armor. His badge was polished, his shoulders straight. Sorel stood on her mother's other side, still quiet, still processing, but close. Zaraya stepped forward. She spoke clearly. My people, I bring truth. Many years ago, in the darkest hour of war, a human saved my life. That act did not end with survival. It led to the birth of someone who now stands beside me. My daughter, Princess Sorel, born of two worlds. Whispers echoed through the room. Some voices were surprised, some angry, others hopeful. Zaraya raised a hand. I know this truth is difficult, but peace begins with courage. Marcus Hale did not destroy our people. He saved them. He saved me. Suddenly, boom, an explosion rocked the summit. Smoke and flame burst from the side wall. Screams. Guards ran. Forward, weapons drawn. Marcus shielded Zaraya with his body. Get down, sirens wailed. Red lights flashed. One of the royal guards rushed in. It's a bomb inside the human's pack. Marcus froze. What? A small black device was pulled from his gear. The crowd shouted in shock. He brought a bomb. Traitor! Assassin! Guards grabbed Marcus and forced him to the ground. No, Sorel shouted. He wouldn't. Zaraya stepped forward, voice shaking. Search it again. That wasn't there before. The captain of the guard held up the device. It was hidden in a sealed pocket. This man is under arrest. Marcus didn't fight. He just looked at Zaraya. I didn't do this. I know, she said quietly. I swear, I know. In a cold holding cell beneath the summit, Marcus sat alone. His arms were chained. The walls buzzed with low energy. A camera blinked from the ceiling. He stared straight ahead, waiting. The door opened. Surreal entered. She stepped up to the glass barrier. Her face was hard, but her eyes were full of storm. Did you do it? She asked. Marcus looked at her. You really think I did? No, she said, but others do. She placed a small cube on the wall. A hologram flickered to life. It showed a masked figure placing the bomb in Marcus's pack just before the summit. Fast, silent, hidden by a guard's cloak. Sorel whispered. Security footage was deleted. This is from a backup drone. Hidden. Marcus stared. Who gave this to you? She hesitated. A servant. I don't know who they are, but they wanted the truth out. Marcus smiled faintly. You believe me now. I believed you before, she said. But this proves someone inside the summit wants you dead. He nodded. And they want your mother silenced. Meanwhile, in the council chamber, Zaraya stood before the lords once again. You saw what happened, one of them hissed. He came here with kindness, but brought a bomb. Another added, You've weakened our kingdom, a human as your ally. Now as your child's father? Zaraya raised her voice. You want to blame him. But he is not the danger. The danger is the silence that has ruled us for years. The lies. The council leader stepped forward. Then prove it. Tomorrow. Let the trial be public. Let all see the truth, Zaraya nodded. They will. That night, Sorel met Zaraya in the Queen's chamber. We need to prepare for tomorrow, she said, and I want him to speak for himself. Zaraya touched her daughter's cheek. You've grown, Sorel, not just in strength, but in heart. Sorel looked at her mother. He gave me both. In the shadows of the summit tower, a cloaked figure spoke into a hidden comm device. The trial will expose him, but we will not let him speak. Prepare the silent poison. The DNA test. The truth that breaks everything. The next morning, the great hall of the Summit Palace was silent. Hundreds of alien nobles, advisors, and soldiers stood in rows. Cameras hovered above. News feeds across the galaxy were streaming the trial live. All eyes were on the Queen, and on the human in chains. Marcus stood tall, though his hands were bound. Queen Zerea walked to the center of the platform. Her voice was calm, but strong. Yesterday you saw an explosion. You saw a device pulled from my guest's gear. But what you did not see was how it got there. She raised her hand. Princess Sorel stepped forward and played the hidden drone footage. Airing. Screen showed a guard slipping the bomb into Marcus's pack while he slept. The crowd gasped. A low murmur spread. He was framed. Someone inside planned this. Zerea spoke again. You judged too fast. You trusted fear more than truth. The council leader frowned. Then tell us something we do not know. Your Majesty. Zerea nodded at Sorel, who walked forward holding a glowing orb. This, she said, is a royal blood tracker. It reads the genetic code of royal bloodlines. She turned to Marcus. Give me your hand. He hesitated, then slowly placed his hand on the orb. It glowed red gold, the color of the true heir of Velmora. Gasps filled the chamber. The orb confirmed what no one could deny. Marcus's blood was royal. Alien nobles whispered in disbelief. A human. He fathered the princess? She's half human? Marcus spoke, his voice steady. I didn't know for years. I only knew I once saved a life in battle. I never imagined that moment would grow into something like this. Sorel turned to the crowd. You fear my bloodline. You fear the idea that something foreign could be part of us. But I am no less strong, no less Velmoran. My blood makes me more. Zerea stepped forward. And if the past must be rewritten to include a human, so be it. Because he never once asked for power. He asked only for truth. The council leader looked nervous. This changes many things, perhaps too many. Zerea replied, then let the people decide. Not through war, through memory, through facts. Let history tell the truth. Suddenly, a loud scream echoed through the chamber. Marcus staggered. He clutched his side. His breathing quickened. Something was wrong. Zerea rushed to him. What is it? A medic ran forward and scanned him. He's been poisoned. Sorel's eyes widened. No, when? How? The medic's voice was grim. In the holding cell. It was slow acting, designed to kill only after the trial. Zerea whispered. They wanted the truth to die right after it was spoken. Marcus collapsed to his knees. I'm fine, he breathed. Just let me finish. But the medic injected him quickly with a neutralizer. We can slow it, but he needs full care now. Zerea shouted. Get him to the Royal Medbay, now! Guards rushed in, but as they lifted Marcus, he looked at the crowd. I'm not your enemy, he said softly. I never was. That night, in the Queen's chamber, Zerea sat beside Marcus, who now rested under the glow of healing lights. Sorel stood by the door, holding the blood tracker orb. He almost died today, she said. Zerea nodded. Yes, and someone powerful wanted that. Sorel's jaw tightened. Then it's time we show them what a united bloodline looks like. Far away, in the darkness of the outer colonies, a shadowy figure slammed his fist on a table and growled. They know. They've united. Then let this be war. Do you remember me now? A choice that ends war. The skies above Velmora Prime burned red. Dozens of rebel ships had broken through the outer defense ring. Explosions flashed in the clouds. Fighters screamed past the towers of the royal palace. The capital was under attack. Inside the high chamber, Queen Zerea stood in full armor. Her long cloak moved with the wind rushing through shattered windows. She held a staff glowing with the royal crest. Princess Sorel stood beside her, her spear in hand. Marcus, now fully recovered, wore his old combat gear. Patched, worn, but steady. The poison had weakened him, but not broken him. Zaraya turned to him. "They're coming for all of us." He nodded. "Then let's show them why that's a mistake." On the palace floor below, the traitor revealed himself at last. Lord Rake, once a trusted advisor, stepped through the burning doorway. With a small army of synthetic soldiers, his armor shimmered with stolen tech. His voice echoed as he spoke. "You let a human into our bloodline. You've polluted the throne. This empire will be rebuilt without weakness." Zaraya stepped forward. "You don't want strength. You want control," Rayek snarled. "I want purity. I want to erase the shame you've brought to our people." Marcus stepped up, eyes sharp. "You don't understand strength, Rayek. It's not power. It's sacrifice. It's love." Rayek laughed, coldly. "What would a human know of Velmoran blood?" Sorel raised her spear. "He knows more than you ever will." The final battle began. Synthetics charged. Marcus fought like it was 20 years ago, covering Surreal's side, using old tricks from the war, striking where machines were weakest. His body ached, but his mind was sharp. Sorel moved like fire, graceful, fast, fierce. Her alien training and human instincts blended perfectly. Zaraya held the center, her voice guiding the palace guards, her presence like a storm of light. They fought as one. Mother, father, daughter. 3 lives, 1 bond. After the battle, smoke filled the chamber. Reg crawled toward a control panel, bloodied, beaten. He pressed a code. A countdown began. Marcus ran forward. "He's launching a failsafe." Zaraya scanned the panel. "It will destroy the palace and everyone in it," Sorel shouted. "We have seconds." Marcus looked at the screen and saw something only he recognized, an old Earth command code. "I can stop it," he said, "but I have to stay." Zaraya grabbed his arm. "No." Marcus looked at her, then at Sorel. "I missed her whole life. Don't let me miss her future." He smiled. "Do you remember me now?" Zaraya's eyes filled with tears. "I always did." She kissed his forehead. "Sorel," whispered Father. He placed her hand over her heart. "Live for both of us." Then he stepped to the console and entered the override code. The light turned white. Then, silence. Days later, the sun rose over Velmora. The palace stood, damaged, but still strong. The people came out, they rebuilt. Together, Queen Zaraya spoke to the galaxy. "We are no longer just Velmoran. We are more. We are unity." Beside her, Princess Sorel stood, stronger, wiser. She wore a medal on her chest, not hers, her father's. That night, Sorel sat alone in the royal garden, under the stars. She looked up, whispered, "Thank you." And the wind whispered back, softly as if from another world, "Do you remember me now?"